Good morning, everyone, and a hearty welcome to the third edition of the National Conference on Education at Vidya Vanam. I have great pleasure in welcoming His Eminence, Dr. Samdong Rinpoche, Dr. Vijay Raghavan, who has flown in from all the way from Delhi to be here, the keynote speaker. I have such many more eminent scholars and doctors in the audience. Is Dr. Praveen Kumar, Chintan Modi, I have Dr. Markandan, Dr. Perumal Murugan, Geeta Jayaraj, and I'm just naming them so casually because they've been such wonderful friends of mine that I fail to give the formality maybe that the stage requires, but welcome to all of you. I'd like to give a brief as to why we conduct these conferences and what triggered the series of conferences that is happening biannually, every alternate year, I would say. It started in 2014, and it was triggered by a death of a young student in Bethel, and a teacher had beaten him up and he died. And similar such violent incidents inflicted by teachers on students led to the theme of education for a caring society. A society in which children can grow without fear, and cornerstone of free and fearless living is democracy. So we chose democracy in education as the theme for 2016. So I think it just flowed into the next conference. With violence and injustice, inequality and lack of acceptance, lack of empathy continuing to dominate the discourse, it is important to talk about peace and negotiating all these obstacles in a peaceful way, more so for teachers, as they have a great responsibility in keeping the learning environment democratic and peaceful. Promoting freedom of speech, individuality, critical thinking, debate, and coalition empower the students to be agents of peace and change. Any form of exclusion is an act of violence. Inclusion does not mean tolerance. Both are fodder for violence. Peace in education is therefore dependent on giving people a sense of belonging. It is not enough if you accommodate or tolerate. Let me give you an example. Children from a variety of backgrounds attend school and are usually, which is usually for the affluent. Parents, in their earnestness to give their children the excellent education, send them to schools that may be much beyond their means. Yet, at the end of the day, the academic gap exists. Why is that? Because students from different cultural and economic backgrounds don't feel that they belong. The same biases exist. They are not encouraged to aspire. Aspirations are not for them. Barriers are not broken. Diversity is not enough to get integration. Diversity is about demographic change. Integration is about cultural and organizational change. So it's not enough to teach children from different backgrounds. We have to create communities with a difference that bring children from the margins to the center. Be aware of cultural differences between within their groups and otherwise, so that the line between the them and the us blurs. We have to concentrate on the social and cultural environment of the school to understand more effectively how to improve children from the margins and bring them to the center. We can also shift the tides of educational inequality by providing ample opportunities and resources, by cultivating flexible minds and empathetic hearts. But these are the core values through which we want to work through conferences, bring these ideas into the education field among teachers so that we can bring out a world of peace, an environment for children where they can be at peace with themselves and with the environment in which they live. Thank you very much for being here this morning, and I'm sure we are going to have an invigorating sessions for today and tomorrow. We have very, very eminent speakers, and I'm just waiting to hear them as much as you are.